Hey friends, Jessica here from Creators Couture, and it's another Free Brush Monday. And the fact that it's Tuesday shouldn't even cross your mind, minor detail. Anyway, if you like free Photoshop brushes and fashion inspiration, and especially gold, follow along because I think you'll have a lot of fun. So today's inspiration came from the fashion house Schiaparelli. And this, I believe, is from, my fashion inspiration is on the left. And let's pop over to their website. So I believe this is their ready to wear collection, but this fashion house is known for surrealism, and like they had collaborations back in the day with Salvador Dali. So very surrealist kind of influence, high fashion, really interesting. And let's just scroll down here. A lot of the recent collections have had some really interesting gold molded art, and I just think it's so fun. And if you guys know me at all, you know I love all things gold. So this look caught my attention here. And this flower is a really classic flower. I forget what it is, iris, lily, whatever. But I thought it was pretty. And I thought that's something, flowers are always in fashion, so I thought that would be something that we could gather inspiration from, this metallic molded gold. So today I am going to give you one of the brushes from my 24 karat gold brush magic collection, a nice classic textured brush from my brushwork collection. This one has become my new essential collection. What I like about it is that you can use the pressure to, show directional stroke, and it has a lot of texture in there, so it feels very natural. And then one of the glittery metallic styles from my Creative Couture collection. And so let's just pop over here. So here's our inspiration on the left, and here is our flower. And so let's just jump into it and get moving. So I'm going to put this over here, and let's see here. So let's make a new layer. And to start off with, oh, I wanted to tell you also, just give a little shout out to my 24 karat gold brush collection. This is like becoming one of my most popular collection, and it lets you make really cool metallic gold brush strokes, and you can have like liquid gold textures. You can do some like gold, whatever you call that, like when you put gold, like gold leaf. This is kind of a gold leaf effect brush, splatters. It's a lot of fun. So have to toot my own horn there for just a hot second, but that is one of the collections that we're going to be using. So I'm giving you brush number 2. It's a wet brush from that collection. And I specially designed the tips so you can have these really beautiful gold strokes with like movement inside them. So it really is fun. And now this brush will come preloaded with gold. So you can grab my brush. I will have it available in a form of ABR brush if you're using one of the newer Photoshops, Photoshop CC or whatever. If you have an older Photoshop, I have it saved as a tool preset, because older versions of Photoshop won't let you save the mixer brush settings. So I have both bases covered, and I'll have links down below. If you miss something or you need some reference, I'll have like tutorials linked down below so you can dive more deep if you're a little newer with us. But this brush is already loaded. Now, one thing I will tell you is that if you change the brush size, if I hit my left or right bracket on my Mac, the brush color will drop out. Totally normal brush activity. I've just preloaded it for you as just because, so that whenever you do a stroke, you can preview it. But if you take the brush size down, then the color will drop out. So I've made you, normally my 24 karat gold comes with this big special brush palette that I have designed, but you'll have a mini one. So if you grab the brush, you can just go ahead and start painting on it. It's good to go. Or if you want to load up your color or play around, you can Option or Alt and click on this to load that color up into the brush. And you see it over here on the left. So I'm just going to load that color up into the brush, and you can play around, move it around, but That's good. So you got a little freebie as well. So let's just see how I did here. So these leaves here are like irregular. So I'm not going to worry about making it perfect, but I'm just going to kind of make some, let's see here, make some shapes like this. And I like this brush because the wet settings kind of keep some of the streaky sort of, what do you call it? Like the streakiness in it. So that's really fun. And don't forget, if you have an image of gold, like a photo or something of a gold, you can play around and sample your own sample from photos. So, you know, just have fun with that. So I'm just going to draw some leaf shapes here. And I think I'll keep them on separate layers so you kind of feel the difference here. But I'm just going to fill this in. And let's see here. You know, I don't want it to be too perfect or anything. And I want to keep those streaks in there, so I like that. Let's see here. All right, this one's going to be a little like white. Let's make this one a little bit whiter. Hang tight here. Okay. I kind of want to give my things breathing room. So this one has 6 leaves, but I think I'll just make 5 leaves. So I'll go like that. That's cool. Make one new one. Let's just make a skinny leaf here. So, and you know, you can also like go back to your palette, like sample from it and have different strokes every time. So I'm like, then you can have like more light. So even some of these I might just like kind of play with it here. Put some lighter strokes over that, kind of play with that layering. And if it's on a different layer, it's okay, because sometimes I want it to like stand out, because if you paint it on top of the same layer, it will blend in. So I'm just gonna, I had resampled that. I'm adding some highlights. So I like that. That's cool. And it doesn't feel perfect, but we get the idea. It feels voluminous. It feels the gold. And, you know, as you can see, there's like really quite very little drawing ability involved. It's just, you know, rough, whatever. So I'm going to just take all these. I'm happy with that. Good enough. Group those layers. I'm going to drag and pull that group to duplicate it. Now I'll merge it. I'm going to merge this to one layer, merge group. Now, one thing you can also do is, I'm going to go over here to my dodge and burn tool. So here's my dodge tool, and I can just duplicate this again just in case I don't like what I did. But you know, you can play with this dodge, and I leave it all on the default, midtones, 50% exposure, and you can kind of play around and add some light spots to it. So, you know, kind of have fun with that. And or over here, pull it to the burn tool and kind of add some depth here. So that really gets our, the depth kind of adds fast, so be careful. So that really gets that building up. So super happy with it. It's a default Photoshop tool, so we are good. And now I'm going to make a new layer, and then I'm going to option and go like this to make it a clipping layer, or you can go over here and go, you know, make a clipping mask. So that's good. And now sometimes, you know, like I might be tempted to use one of my gold brushes, like, and add some, you know, like gold sparklies to the leaf. But one thing that I've been using my layer styles a lot more, and is, even though I work with brushes a lot, not to discount layer styles, because sometimes they can add a lot of, like, you can add some sparkle, add some shine, but you have a lot more control, and they're editable. So if you want to like change the style or something, you can really easily. So in this case, I made a clipping mask layer, and I'm going to go over to my styles, and I'm adding this layer style, which you can download for free. It's Metal Mixes from my Creative Couture collection. I'll link that. And now we're just going to use my Brushwork Dry Brush number 25. And I'm just going to give you a preview of what this brush looks like on its own. but this is one of my essentials brushes. And you know, you can do it really light or really strong and build up. So I find these are my essential painting brushes because it shows a lot of what do you call it, texture in the brush stroke, and you can build it up or you know, fill it in. So they're really useful, and they're very good for directional strokes. So you know, you can get that feeling of like a direction. That's why we're using that here. So I'm going to go on, I've already applied the layer style to my layer. And then now I'm just going to, let's see what we did here, add some brush strokes like on this layer. And let's see here, I think I'll take the size of my brush down a little bit and just play with it like this. So let's see here, make sure everything is good. Oh, I know why it's not looking exactly how I wanted it. I had my mixer brush still selected, so make sure you grab your regular brush tool. So you have to be careful of that when you're changing brushes. Regular brush tool, and then grab the brushwork brush. And it doesn't matter what color you're going to use because the layer style is over the top of it. So I'm going to just add some little streaky streaks following the path on my leaf. So it's following that, and it's adding this like a really nice little metallic accents, and it's really nice, and you know, a little more control than like if you use the other brush. So I'm kind of just having fun with that. Don't worry about it being perfect, but it's adding that texture like you see over there on the left. So we're not just, you know, like exactly recreating it, but we are being inspired by it. So, and this layer style is really fun and adds a really nice metallic texture. So this is my Instaglam and my Creative Couture layer styles are probably my most used, and I made them so long ago, but they are still like essentials. So we are liking that. And now one thing that I noticed and that I did, this one's turning out better, is there was like some little curly edges of the leaves, you know, kind of around the edges. So what I did was I'll make one more layer on top of that. I'm going to option and then hover over it to create another clipping mask. And I'm going to go back to my 24 karat gold wet brush number 2. And I'm just going to play around and go over the edges. Like, you know what, let's resample my brush here. I'm going to resample it from the mini palette, option click. Let's load that brush up. I'm going to make sure that, you know, make sure that it's like kind of bright. Hold on. I'm going to take the brush down 2 sizes, option click. Let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, now let's take it over here, take it up a size. Oh, that's too dark. But you can play with it, but okay, because I kind of want to, all right. So I'm just going to go over the edges a little bit like this. But what I'm going to do first is I have some shadows saved, and I think I'll just put one of my drop shadows. Okay, now I want a linear bird. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do first, just so I can kind of see the outline. Just put a linear burn. You can put a drop shadow down here, FX drop shadow. These ones I save for easy reference, and so that I can do them really faster when I'm working. But I would recommend with gold a linear burn. You might have to take the opacity down a little bit. You can play with your distance, with your size. I'm going to go like that. Okay. And that's good. So I want to see those edges of that, those leaves going over like I did here. Here you can see some of the little edges. So let's go back here. I'm not 100% happy, but I'm going to just try to like go with the flow here. So I'll go like this, kind of go along the sides here. This one turned out so pretty. I kind of don't want to, oh, that's not bad. There we go. Okay, sometimes it paints every way that, you know, like if you go in a different direction, it's gonna paint, get a different effect. So I'm actually liking that. And then maybe play down here, okay. Let's see here. So that's cool. That's got that like the little like kind of leaf going over, and I've got a drop shadow so you can kind of separate it from the backdrop. But on this, let's see here, I think I'll go over here to my dodge tool, and I think I will like add some highlights on this so that those little things going over sometimes look a little bit lighter. So that could be fun. Or maybe they need to be darker. Let's play with that. Let's go with my burn tool, maybe play with the edges being, that's interesting. Okay. Kind of play with some of them being dark, some area of them being darker. Are they all in the same one? Okay. That's cool. Good enough, close enough. We still feel that, you know, like we still feel the volume of it. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is I will make a new layer. I'm going to grab my wet gold number 2, and I'm going to take this brush size down. I'm clicking on my left bracket, and this is going to be a little bit hard to see here, but I'm just going to draw, just kind of wiggle my brush around to draw some little like some little center of the flower dots. And so I just did it over here so you can see. I'm going to move it over here. But the thing is you can't see it super well. So I'm going to go to my flower layer and where I drew my flower, and I'm going to grab my burn tool, and I'm going to burn behind those things a little bit so you can kind of see them. And let's see here. Maybe what I will do is grab the wet, make a new layer even. No, that does not look nice. Hold on. Where's my burn tool? Okay, burn tool, stick with this. Anyway, you can play with this, but yeah, I'm gonna add that behind that. That looks fine, that looks better. So this one on the left turned out nicer, but you know, I'm doing the demo live, so, or whatever, so you get the idea. And I can go back to my little dots that I drew and even dodge them a little bit so they stand out. That looks better. There we go. It's all about contrast. So you need to bring one thing lighter, one thing darker. Now you have the contrast. That looks cooler. We are happy enough. So just underneath that, I'll add a new layer. And I just am going to make these little stems here. So I'm grabbing my wet paint brush again. I'm going to left bracket to take it down. Now notice, even though I took it down, the color didn't drop out because it did drop out, but it changed to whatever I sampled last. So I sampled the gold last, so it's still fine. So I'm just going to draw some little goofy little stems here. And there you have it, like a liquid gold, molded gold flower that is inspired by the Schiaparelli look. And one little bonus thing that I added in there for you guys is just kind of a black and gray color palette for my color blending brushes, my color blending impressionist brushes. And if you want, you can grab a free brush sampler on Adobe's website. And this is the brush sampler that you can get directly from Adobe. I did a little collaboration with them, and it's kind of nice. This is the color blending brush, and you can learn more all about it. But I like adding a little bit of depth or something, so just not having it flat on the black. Like the suit is, you know, different colors of black and gray, so you can have fun. But I pre-made a color palette, so you know, you could add some little kind of draw some paint, you know, some strokes behind it to add a little bit to that depth. So it's really nice, and it's very subtle. So these are all brushes that you can get for free on Adobe, and then you can use the color palette that I gave you. So there's like a watercolor one. but just a little extra something something. Hope you guys enjoyed Free Brush Monday. If you have any questions, let me know down below in the comments. And yeah, I'm super excited to bring you another Free Brush Monday / Tuesday. And what else? Also, I love to hear your suggestions, so let me know.